And right now at 6, we have an update to a Where's the Money investigation on COVID hotels Mecklenburg County used to house vulnerable groups during the height of the pandemic.
FEMA is withholding more than $2 million from the county meant to reimburse for those hotels. And as we told you before, the county used the hotels to keep infected people out of shelters and the spread of COVID at bay, but one in particular was hardly used.
Yeah, and our investigation also found that the county has spent months trying to convince the federal government to release those compensation funds. But Nate Morabito discovering here there's a chance county taxpayers will now have to foot the bill.
Turns out we weren't the only ones questioning just how few people stayed at the now closed $300,000 a month quarantine hotel. County records show FEMA was already asking questions as far back as September. There's no doubt this hotel helped people like Aaron Hall.
This desk is kind of where I spend most of my time.
A man who tested positive for COVID-19 and had nowhere else to go.
I literally thought I was going to be just like living on the street for a little while,
sparing the community additional risk of infection. But as WCNC Charlotte discovered in April, the 120-room Econo Lodge averaged just 68 guest stays a month over the course of 21 months, leaving Citizens Against Government Waste critical of the program.
Taxpayers need to be more demanding about getting results for the money that they are spending.
In the face of that criticism, Health Director Dr. Raynard Washington told us in May he wasn't concerned FEMA would withhold any reimbursements for its $14.7 million pandemic hotel program.
I don't know where the concern came from, but I think every city and county really across the country has had to take a similar approach, and I fully anticipate that FEMA will be reimbursing those expenditures as they have been doing up until this point.
But newly obtained county records show FEMA hasn't reimbursed all of those expenses. At least $2.1 million in reimbursements remain pending, and that's not counting the millions more the county still needs to request. This as FEMA has on multiple occasions raised questions over occupancy at the county's pandemic hotels. Now that the $2 million impasse is public knowledge, a spokesperson told us it was Mecklenburg County's clear understanding from FEMA that each of the expenses would be reimbursed fully, but then later learned after the fact FEMA would only cover the costs for occupied rooms. Remember, this hotel was far from 100% occupied. The county doesn't plan on backing down, meeting FEMA reps in hopes of securing full reimbursement, contending the agency's position is not in keeping with FEMA's published policies. Nor does it make sense that the county could not procure sufficient space on an as-needed basis to isolate certain COVID-positive people.
I don't think that's ever a waste of money.
While the emergency shelter provided a priceless service for people like Aaron Hall, FEMA told WCNC Charlotte the agency must ensure all claimed costs are necessary and reasonable, and meet eligibility and other federal requirements. A final decision is now likely weeks away. Nate Morabito, WCNC Charlotte.
And right now on our website and mobile app, we have a graph that breaks down how many guests stayed at that pandemic hotel in 2020 and 2021. You can check that out inside Nate's story right on the homepage.